Hello, everybody. What's going on? It is Pyrotechnics, and there is a light shining through my window that is incredibly glary. I'm going to go fix that. We'll be right back. Well, hopefully that solved the problem. As you can see in the background, my glare has hopefully been taken away. Although that's only going to be a temporary problem, as we're going to get into a game that I'm casting, once again posted on our Casted. This is StarCasts episode number 22. And for those of you interested, I'm actually going to be doing a little bit of a show match for I guess it's a clan or a group called the Futon Alliance tonight in about an hour and 15 minutes, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. So yeah, let's get into this game. This is a PVZ, and it is on, I don't even know the map it's on, but we'll find out. Star Station, that's the map. Ooh, this is going to be good. Well, we are loading up right now, and here we go. This, I believe, is a Platinum, so we'll see some decent builds, some interesting strategies coming out of this. Somewhat higher level than some of the stuff I've done in the past, but unlike the Masters games that I have been doing recently. And I've also retooled up a little bit more of my understanding of the observer interface, especially the latest patch changes, because I can now do this. Whoa! Whoa! Alright, enough screwing around. Let's introduce the players. Spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the red Protoss. It is the bottom left corner, that is. It is Coffeebreak. Spawning up in the top right-hand corner, whoa, more zoomage, is the blue Protoss. It is Bodybagger. Alright, give it up for these two players. And there is something wrong with my sound. Ah, that's what it is. Headphones not plugged in. Okay, so starting out this game, we're going to get right into production, see what both players are going to do. Early pylon placed in the main base of Coffeebreak, indicating that he's not in fact going for the Forge Fast Expand, attempting to wall off here. Instead, he is going to be going for likely a gateway expansion, relying on the Mothership Core to deter any early Zerg pressure. The Overlord is going ahead and scouting for our Zerg player. He's sending out another one to do some scouting as well. No drone scouting coming out of the Zerg player either. So both the Protoss and the Zerg are sitting tight on their own bases and hoping there isn't some crazy cheesy all-ins coming out of this. But really, this gateway expand is a pretty safe bet unless you're going for, unless your opponent's going for 6 pool or something. And on a map this big, Star Station, kind of difficult to pull that off. As you can see, this is a large map. So now there comes the drone scout. Coming on out, I believe this map has lately been cross spawns only, but I'm not sure. So it might make sense why the scouting is happening. Both this probe and this drone are going to run into each other at roughly the same time, somewhere around here. And we're going to go ahead and see a expansion at 16, a 16 hatch first build coming out of Bodybagger. And going back to the Protoss base, we're going to see the gateway nearing completion as probes continue to be chrono boosted out, one of them rallying directly over in the expansion place. So we're going to see a 17 Nexus coming up. Maybe an 18 Nexus? Come on. As soon as he's got the minerals for it. And there it goes. Extractor coming down before pool for the Zerg player, looking to possibly secure... Interestingly enough, I would think if he gets this, he's going for a fast lair if he doesn't get a pool. There comes the pool just after it. The probe is going to see that. Hightail out of the base, sees the hatch first, knows there isn't any early pressure coming down at this time. And the Zerg player, likewise, is now scouting this fast expansion and attempting to do a bit of damage to the pylon. Breaking its shields down, whatnot. Gas coming down for the Protoss player, just one. So we are likely going to see, yes, it is going to be gateway expansion. Probably, given this gas, only one probe on it right now. I'm not really sure if that was a misclick or not. We're going to see Cybercore and a Forge coming down into the wall. And likely it's going to be some sort of, I want to say 3-gate robo maybe. But could be 4-gate given the Forge pressure. Or Forge construction, excuse me, at the time. More drones coming out for Bodybagger, who has just finished up his spawning pool. Starts 2 queens instantaneously. Looking to macro up as fast as possible, but he's going to be on the same number of bases as his opponent. Only slightly ahead on his hatchery. Barely mining out of it at this time. And the wall-off is just completing at this time with a pylon now being placed down for Coffeebreak. And we're going to see Zergling speed being started as soon as this spawning pool has finished. So it looks like Bodybagger getting a slight delayed Zergling speedling push coming out the door now, but not looking to tech up to 3 expansions. This is not the best response, given that he saw this base was going down, had to know that this wall-off was coming in. Speedlings will just not do anything against this. This Zealot will hold very well. Warp Gate will come in, being able to, allowing the Protoss player to reinforce. This Mothership Core is out here. We'll be able to stop so much early aggression. So right now, we're going to see 1 Evo Chamber coming down. And continuing to drone up right now, but not extremely heavily. And he also built this Spine Crawler for some defense. So it's kind of hard to tell what the Zerg player is going for in a build right now. He's obviously getting Zergling speed, so he wants to do some kind of aggression. But he doesn't have really a whole lot of units, and it doesn't look like he's going to swell with too many. And even if he does, this is a solid wall-off. The Protoss is going to defend this no problem. He is now up to getting his 4th gas. He's not mining out of one of them. Looks like he is fully saturated on the other 2. There is only 1 gate out on the field. We are going to see a robo facility coming down. So it's probably going to be maybe an Immortal all-in? Well, it looks like that probe might have scouted there that the Speedlings have finished. They are going to run into this base, try and do some damage. +1 attack on the way. Cybercore is now researching the Warp Gate upgrade and still not even being chrono boosted, just kind of taking his time on that one. More drones being pumped out as well as +1 melee attack, so committing to Zergling play right now. Bodybagger is looking to tech up for a big attack, even though he drones continuously behind this. Another gas coming in, total of 3 gases now for the Zerg player, finally starting his lair a little bit early, I want to say. So he might be transitioning into Mutalisks, and here comes a 3rd hatchery down for him. Meanwhile, this one Zergling is scouting out what's going on at this base. So the Mothership Core not quite seeing it. The Zergling's going to run in and say, "What's going on, guys? Okay, I'm going to try to do some damage to this pylon." And the Zealot is not going to go anywhere, but a Photon Cannon will come down to deter this Ling before he does any serious damage to the pylon. And in the meantime, Roach Warren now coming down on the field, so not Mutalisk, but Roach Warren. Interesting choice that he's getting +1 melee attacks and also a Roach Warren, so almost seems like the build is a little bit out there, not sure what he wants to do. And the Mothership Core is going to fire down that Ling. Another Spine Crawler in position. Yeah, the Zerg seems to be a little bit all over the place. He is almost fully saturated. He's going to, looks like, build up a Hydra Den. So, not Mutalisk play. It looks like Roach Hydra play, but a little bit delayed at 8:40 into the game, getting his 4th gas just now. His 3rd has just finished up. This may not be the best move, though, because almost as if he's anticipating it, we've already got Colossus starting to come out here, and we're going to see Thermal Lance coming out, as well as a 2nd Forge. So, 4 gates, 1 Robo, maybe 1 or 2 more Robos could come out, and we could even see a 3rd base being taken by the Protoss, but with these Colossus out on the field, this is just going to melt Roach Hydra. And he's extremely heavily saturated right now on these bases, needs to be drone transferring if he wants to get this base worth it. He is getting his upgrades, he's getting Glial Reconstitution, and of course the Groove Spines to make the Hydralisk do a little bit more damage, but he's only just now starting to connect his creep. Bodybagger is going to be in a lot of trouble. These Colossus are going to finish up just before really anything can come out on the field for Bodybagger. And not only that, Coffeebreak's going to be able to see all this. He's going to see, what exactly are you doing? You're getting Roach Hydra? Okay, sure, why not? Whatever. Yeah. Alright. I don't even know. And behind this, he's getting +2 attacks, melee attacks. This isn't going to help the Roaches or Hydralisks at all. This is not the best move for Bodybagger to be doing. He does have a couple of Hydralisks out on the field. He's not attacking with them. He's not building a big enough swell. But let's talk about Coffeebreak. He is way far down in supply, and that's mostly due to his Harvester count, which is, 20 or so behind his opponents. But, when you're talking about a 3-base Zerg, well, he's barely mining out of this one. Well, no, now he is, but he's so heavily saturated on these 2, he doesn't really need to be. Building another Evo Chamber, a 3rd one, not really sure why he started +1 1 missile attacks as well. But all this hesitation has allowed Coffeebreak to just keep teching up completely under no pressure whatsoever, and because of the lack of detection, he's going to abuse it with the Dark Shrine. Not only that, we're also seeing charge coming into play, so Zealot's going to focus heavily into this next attack, as well as these Colossus. Zealot, Colossus, interesting composition. A third Colossus is going to come out on the field. We're probably going to see a push after this. An Infestation Pit now being thrown down for the Zerg player as well, who clearly, along with the Spire, who clearly just does not know what he wants to do. This is kind of a confusing setup right now, and +2 attack, +1 armor for the Protoss. A little bit confusing coming out of Coffeebreak as well. It looks like he's sort of not really committed to any particular attack at all. He's just teching up to hopefully meet anything that comes his way, but he's a lot more focused than the Zerg player. He does have sort of a clear pattern in mind, and now the Changeling going to come in and scout what's going on here. Sees a lot more gateways coming down, knows there should be a push out pretty soon, but when is it going to happen? It's kind of almost anyone's guess now. 4th base now being taken for Bodybagger, who goes up to Hive Tech. Very all over the place, this matchup. There's been so few engagements, heavy macroing from both sides, but the number of units out on the field really doesn't show how long and how heavy this game has been. At 13 minutes into the game, we see only 66 to 50 army supply, and neither player has really taken a clear advantage. Very heavy mining coming out of the Zerg player, almost a little bit too heavy, but 3 bases for the Protoss, completely uncontested, and the Zerg's 4th is just a little bit delayed, given what he should be doing right now. He needs to be pushing out with these units. Not doing anything with them does not help. His upgrades are a little bit low, but we're going to see a Nidus network? What buildings has the Zerg not built this game? This is going to be wicked crazy, man. And is that Changeling even been spotted? I think it might have, but there really isn't a whole lot of the space that hasn't been covered. Maybe over here is the potential blind spot, but there really isn't much. And right now we're going to start seeing a couple more pylons being placed in odd locations. A little bit of an attack from a Dark Templar coming out here. Bodybagger, if he's not careful, is going to lose this 4th hatch. He also is going to lose this 3rd. No detection whatsoever. This is not good at all. And just a little bit too late, we're going to see this 4-crawler coming out, but this hatch is going to get sniped. There it goes, nothing to attack. The 4th base now under fire as well from the single Dark Templar, but detection only just hitting the field now. Bodybagger on heavy supply, but he has to be long distance mining. His income is dropping drastically. And the replacement hatch comes in as well as a Spore Crawler. Big Roach Hydra composition out here, but this isn't going to do much. The Colossus, where are they? There they are. We've got up to 5 Colossus right now. A lot of Zealots. Nothing really to protect these Colossus, unfortunately. But it looks like we're going to see some Blink Stalkers coming out here. A lot of strange compositions, army compositions. We got, on the Protoss side of things, 1 Dark Templar left, a couple of Stalkers, 5 Colossus, 14 Zealots, the Mothership Core, of course, and 66 Harvesters. Bodybagger, on the other hand, has 18 Hydras, 18 Lings, 23 Roaches, and 82, excuse me, now Harvesters. He's researching like crazy. +3 melee attacks, +2 Carapace, and +2 missile. But we're also going to see +3 attacks coming out of the Forge, and Blink is almost done. We're also going to see the Cybercore researching the air weapons, almost done with that. This game has just been all over the place. It looks like neither player has really followed what you could even call a build order. At the moment, they're just really building as many things as they can. Crackling attack speed coming up, and we're going to see absolutely no engagements of any note coming down. A couple of Lings try to take out a few things, but the Protoss player in very good shape right now because he has been able to snipe these hatcheries and put a lot of pressure on the Zerg, who really is just not doing a whole lot in response. Yes, he has Hydras, he has Lings, he's got Roaches, but what are they going to do against this composition? That is a lot of Colossus. There are no Vipers out on the field. And the upgrades are just about dead even though they have been scattered. A lot of upgrades not even being used, frankly. And, man, the Protoss army could use force fields, the Zerg army could use Vipers. Neither player is really doing what they need, but this hatch could get sniped as well. So right now the harassment is just very heavy for the Protoss player. And there goes the 4th hatchery. Income once again dropping. A little bit of engagement with the Roaches going down over here on the side, but Bodybagger having to get chased on back home. These Zealots, these Chargeless are doing so much damage with their +2/+2 against these +1/+1 Roaches. And with the charge, the Roaches are going to start getting fired down. Colossus not even worrying about getting hit. long distance mining now being the name of the game for Bodybagger, who is continually having to reinforce every little angle, every nook and cranny. Even though this is not a huge force, it has just had so much time to build up, getting good upgrades. Corruptor's now coming into the mix, but these +2/+2 Zealots are holding and meat shielding so well. The Phoenix now coming into play. Not really sure what purpose they're going to serve, but we're also going to see a transition into Sky Toss. So, the Zergy army here, the Roach Hydra army, is doing okay at the moment, holding its own, but only the +1/+1 upgrades, +2/+2 only just finishing up, and +3 attacks, which frankly is only being used by the Lings. Not a whole lot for the Zerg player can save him from what is fast becoming the strangest death ball I have ever seen. But Bodybagger is now maxed out on 200 supply. He has his +3 upgrades. He really should be starting +3/+3 for his Carapace and missile attacks, but he's not. So it looks like, he is not again going to come out and do an attack. He's going to let this hatch finish up. And unfortunately, these Dark Templar are making so much use of their invisibility and no detection out on the field. All that the Zerg player can do is surround the hatch, hope for the best, but this hatch is going to get fired down again without any detection. There it comes. There's the Overseers, just a little bit too slowly. So much harassment in this game, completely uncontested. Bodybagger is just in so much trouble. He is now teching up to Ultralisk, getting chitinous plating, but he doesn't even have any Ultras in production. So it's really a game of which player knows what they want to do more. This game almost hurts my head with how much ridiculous, all over the place play there is. Phoenix is now coming out to snipe these drones that are unprotected, just barely out of range of the Spore Crawler. Couple more Hydras come onto the high ground, but only one Phoenix lost. Excellent exchanges. Coffeebreak is coming off so much better in these attacks. And when you look at the units lost and the units killed, I mean, that doesn't look like a big number, but look who's doing all the attacking. It is the Protoss player. Time and time again, he's now getting his 5th base. He has, a slight deficit in army, but he actually has a worker supply lead thanks to those other drones he was taking out earlier. And he now has 1, 2, 3, 4 bases to only 3 mining bases for the Zerg, a 4th one only just being restarted again. So if this game continues to go as it is, there is no reason to believe that Coffeebreak will not take this handily. Not to mention, this observer, not even being seen this game, just knows everything that's going on in that 4th base. He can stop anything. When that base comes right on back up, he's just going to go, alright, well, I'm just going to bring my Warp Prism in and warp in a few more Dark Templar to take it out. So right now we are going to see a couple of Lings coming in and try and take out these probes, but right now we're going to see one of the bigger engagements, and this is not a good place to be if you're Zerg. That Ultralisk, one of the more expensive units he can build, is just getting fired down. But no, the Colossus are out of position. They're going to get fired down. 1, 2 goes down, 3 goes down, 4. Oh, the Corruptor's doing so much damage. 5, and all the Colossus will fall, but at what cost? Oh, well, 2 Colossus don't fall. Okay. Time Warp on the Mothership, absolutely clutch. The Sky Toss, Colossus, and Stalkers completely untouched. And that Zerg army is going to get cleaned up. All of a sudden, Coffeebreak in a absolutely fantastic position, abusing the fact that the Zerg player has had to long-distance mine a good chunk of this game. The income heavily in favor of the Protoss. He cannot remax. The Phoenixes are going to come in and poke, see what they can do. But this is still a death ball, albeit a very strange one. And there's no way this hatch is surviving this attack. Even though constant reinforcement, a whole lot of Ultras coming out, this big bank for the Zerg player, even though he does not have the income to support continuous remaxing, he does have a lot to work with. Bodybagger coming on back up to 200, but right now, our Zerg player, or our Protoss player, is just going to say, you know what, I can get +1 shields, I don't even care, man. Phoenix is coming in to clean up a lot of these drones. A couple of Hydras coming out of the field to deny them, but just one Hydra. One Hero Hydra, but the Phoenixes are going to just derp around and say whatever. Now a massive counterattack coming on, swinging over at the 4th of the Protoss player. Roaches and Ultras and Lings, oh my, but they will not stand up against this force from Coffeebreak. Bodybagger is hoping to snipe this hatchery, and half-heartedly says, attack, okay, don't attack, okay, I'm going to snipe it, whatever, and then loses his whole army. Not the best of exchanges when you think about it. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the units lost. This entire game, the Zerg player has been at a heavy deficit. 4,000 resources lost compared to his opponent. And he's going to be remaxing on Ultras and Lings and, I guess, more Infestors. Not really rallying any of his units either, just leaving them all kind of hanging around here. This is just such a mix and match army, even from both players. And, you know, look at this. We've got, on the unit composition, 5 Archons, 3 Colossus, 16 Stalkers, 11 Void Rays, 1 Phoenix still left. But this is still a really, really good composition to deal with just about anything that the Zerg can produce at this time, because we've got only 3 Corruptors. That's it for the anti-air, aside from the Hydras, who are doing very well, by the way. And a lot of 5 Ultras, 9 Roaches, but they're getting cleaned up pretty handily. And, even though the Sky Toss has been nuked down, these Archons are just doing so much work right now, and unfortunately they are going to be caught a little bit out of position and get fired down by those Ultralisks. So all of a sudden, Bodybagger is now in the supply lead, even though he's only on 4 bases, and the Protoss player is taking more. If he realizes this in counterattacks right now, the Protoss player does not have a whole lot. He can only produce so much at a time. The gateway count he has is only up to, well, it's only up to 10. Only 10 gateways, but he does have a significant deficit in supply right now. Bodybagger, recognizing this, is going to march in, try and take out as many of those units as he possibly can. Right now, the force of the Protoss player is so low, but overextending right now. Bodybagger might lose all of these units, and it looks like 1 Ultra does get fired down, a second one soon to follow. The Roach Hydra is getting absolutely melted by the 1 Colossus, and of course, these Void Rays are so clutch. Continuing his harassment of this non-mining Nexus, though, Bodybagger says, no, I'm going to go home. So unfortunately for him, that was not nearly enough to defend, to counter-push, to get himself in that good of a lead. Surprisingly, he's still in this game because the harassment for the time being has stopped, and he's getting himself up to 5 bases. Time Warp does come down, slowing those Lings, significantly preventing a full surround, but the Ultras are doing big-time work, even against these Immortals, along with the Lings and the Archons. But really, the deciding factor is these Void Rays, because there is absolutely no anti-air except for that 1 Corruptor. So these Void Rays can just chase this down all day. And now the production is all the way back on Bodybagger's side, who continues to produce as many Hydras as he can, along with Lings and Roaches. The upgrades are at a standstill. +2, +2, +3 missile attacks, all the Hydra upgrades, all the Roach upgrades, except for Tunneling Claws, and Chitinous Plating. So a lot of upgrades for both players. +1 air attack was also researched, but this +3, +3 is making all the difference against the +2, +2 of the Zerg. He really, if he wants to keep these units, he needs to transition into that. He could be getting missile attacks and Carapace level 3, keeping this army at a huge supply lead. But instead, he is going to just continue to reinforce with units, producing more Hydras, more Lings, more Queens now too. And, oh my, a whole lot, a parade of probes, as it were, is marching back into this base to continue up the mining. And Coffeebreak, even though he has a significant supply deficit, is still very much heavily in the Harvester count upgrade. He is catching back up to his opponent in mining time. No harassment, total standstill coming out of either of these players. So right now, it is still pretty much anyone's game. But we also see some DTs being produced, and now a Templar Archives coming out. So this may signal a bit of a tech switch 30 minutes into the game, of course, but some good storms could really do a lot of damage to this army. And unfortunately, a couple of Archons on the Mothership Core getting caught out of position. They are going to get fired down, and here comes the Sky Toss and the Colossus, but this is a huge force from Bodybagger. Coffeebreak is not prepared to deal with this. Those are dropping one by one by one. The Colossus gets fired down. The Void Rays backing up are going to get fired down, of course, as well. And this is going to probably be the end of that Nexus. And a Nidus Swarm is now being built to follow this up, but it is really not going to be doing anything. More Lings, more Roaches coming in to reinforce, but Coffeebreak, sensing it is all over, GG's out of the game that he was very much in the lead of, a good chunk of it. Very strange play coming out of both these players. But it was a very good game. It was absolutely unpredictable, back and forth. I said he was going to win. I said the other one was going to win. I couldn't call it. That was absolutely nuts. Total action all around. Good macro, but very confusing. There was. It almost seems like neither player was following really what you could call a build order. They were really just sort of throwing down all sorts of things. It was a lot of mind games, and I love that. It was a lot of fun to watch, and the harassment from Coffeebreak was absolutely phenomenal. The DTs, if he'd have continued that, there was just almost no detection, and where it was not where it needed to be. So Bodybagger mismacroed quite a bit, but he did take advantage of a couple of good engagements to turn around, macro up, build up a force that was just absolutely unpredictable for his opponent, for Coffeebreak, to really counter effectively. Yeah, he could get Colossus and Stalkers. He didn't really have any force fields, which probably would have helped against that. But then the couple of Ultralisks came in, and they would have shattered force fields anyways. If the High Templar switch had been made in time, maybe that would have been good enough. Kind of hard to call those games. Those are really ridiculous, and people's macro just absolutely falls apart sometimes. So it was good, though. It was a lot of fun, and hey, I hope you had a good time watching. I'm going to call it GG for now, and I'll give you a mash of the GG button. But hey, tonight I'm going to be casting a little shindig over for the Futon Alliance, so I'll probably post a link up in YouTube about that, or if you want to PM me about it, and I'll go ahead and put it up on there. I'm going to find out exactly how it's going to go down in about 5 minutes. So until next time, good luck, have fun, and I'll see you guys next time.